everybody, Elisa here with another Vera Bradley bag of the day. Today I thought I would show a bag which was not actually my literal bag of the day, but I thought it's something I just got a little while ago and hadn't gotten a chance to do a video on yet. I wanted to show it, and I thought I have my actual bag of the day here, which was the large on the go in Garden Grove. I feel like I do have a video on this, so if I'll look around and see what my links are. I can put a link below, see if I have one for this bag. I feel like I do. So many bags, I forget which ones I've talked about. Anyway, but then I thought I can load up this bag with all that stuff to show people what it looks like. I put it on and everything so people get a sense of what it looks like with stuff on it. But I want to start out with this bag empty, also so that I can show the lining really well. Officially, this pattern is denim navy. I've been calling it the rainbow tote. I will probably always call it the rainbow tote. There's a hang tag on here, which I will read, and it says, where is it? Oh, it fell off. All for love. And the outside says all for love. And inside it says limited edition Love All Tote, which supports love, equality, and inclusion for all. I don't know if you can read that. Then it says, with your support, we are making a donation of $15,000 to Free Mom Hugs to help advance its not-for-profit mission to be advocates for affirmation and equality for all by providing resources, education, support, and yes, hugs across the country. I think that's great. When I saw this on the website, it came up briefly for a preview, and then it was taken down, and then it went up again. It was a whole rigmarole. But anyway, when it finally, when I first, I had an inkling that this was going to happen, this was going to happen, I said, oh yeah, I want that, for a number of reasons. But to start with, it's a good cause, and one that I completely support. My godmother, who is no longer alive, and who was straight, lived a huge portion of her life in Key West, Florida. And so I started going down there in the, let's say, early 80s regularly, like once a year, until she moved back up to the mainland when she got a little bit older. And most of her friends down there were gay. And so that was, my parents are very liberal and artists, and so this was, this is not a big deal for me at all. But I think that was when I started to go down to Key West regularly, I began to become a little bit more aware of issues around that and what people deal with who are not, just straight white people. And I think that's a good experience to have. I think everyone should have that, sort of be exposed to that. The reason I bring all this up is because I found the language around this bag, especially even when it was promoted briefly on the Vera Bradley website with a big banner, a little vague, which is a little disappointing. I guess I could understand why Vera Bradley would want to do that. Maybe not go all out. But I just want to read what the first paragraph that you get on the Free Mom Hugs website when you go to it, because it's more explicit, and I think it's important to really speak explicitly about what this is about, this bag and the rainbows. So I wrote it down. Free Mom Hugs is a group of affirming parents and allies who love LGBTQ plus community unconditionally. See, there's more, but just as an aside, the Vera hang tag and the stuff on the website never has the letters, LGBTQ, and I think that's a shame. I think they intentionally stayed away from it, and it's not a good look. Next, it continues. We are dedicated to educating families, church, and civic leaders, encouraging them to not only affirm the LGBTQ plus community, but to celebrate them. And just for people who maybe aren't sure what all the letters mean, because, I at times have had to look them up because they keep seeming to add letters. It's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, and the plus represents other sexual identities, including pansexual, asexual, and omnisexual. So I just wanted to sort of call that out. I just think it's important to be a little bit more open about and explicit, like I said, about what this is. Because I do support it completely, and not in a half-assed way, not in a we don't speak the words way. So that was a little disappointing for me, but getting that off my chest, it's a great, cute bag. The other reason I found this appealing was because I'm a child more of the 70s and the 80s, early 80s. And, I think anyone who grew up was sort of a little on the young side in those decades probably was familiar with we all had patches, rainbow patches like this. And our moms sewed them on, our book bags and which we call book bags. I didn't call them backpacks anyway. And denim jackets, had this. I think I even had rainbow sheets. I know I had rainbow sheets. I don't remember the motif exactly. I don't think they were quite like this. They may have been bigger. But anyway, so it definitely took me back to that time, and so I sort of have an affection for it. Also, sort of related to nothing, kind of reminds me, I look at this and I think of Kermit the Frog singing a Rainbow Connection. Anyway, these are not patches, though. These are embroidered on, and they're very nicely done. And I'll try to get it really close there. They're very neat, very well aligned, front and back, which is nice because sometimes, you see products that have embroidery and they're kind of chintzy because the embroidery's only on one side. So I really appreciate that Vera did an excellent job with the production of this bag. With one complaint that I have, which I'll get to. So this is the Vera tote. It's called the Vera tote, although as most people can probably tell, it doesn't have the straps running down the front. And I just have a regular Vera tote out here to compare. They're exactly the same size. I measured them, flattened out. They're exactly the same size. Height, width, base, everything. This is pretty Posies pink. For people who aren't aware, this was a breast cancer pattern. It's just very happy, girly, a little bit maybe more girly than I normally would go for, but something about those luscious pinks, they really are like juicy. So I broke down and got it. But you can see opening, same size, height, same size. When you crunch down, this has been sitting on the floor in my closet for a bit, so it's a little bit flattened out. But when you get the bases to their proper, to the edge of whatever that stiffener is in there, they're the same width. So this obviously doesn't have that front slip pocket with the zipper pocket on top. That's the big difference. It doesn't have that element up there on the front. Guys, please stop fighting. This does have a zipper pocket, though, on the exterior. It's a hidden zipper pocket on the side seam. And so it's a good size. I'd say my hand is about here. You see that on the tote bag. You see that hidden side zipper pocket. I'm not sure what's going on with the tote because I notice it's super on sale and it hasn't been coming out. I don't think it's out in the latest pattern, so I'm a little also concerned that that bag is going away. I'm not quite as attached to that bag because it doesn't have a zipper top, but it is a nice medium-sized tote. I do show it in one of my videos where I compare the large and the small Vera and that tote, that medium-sized tote. But it does have the you know, the label there, so officially this would be the front. And I was worried, thinking maybe this wouldn't be aligned nicely with the rainbow, but it seems to be. I think this is probably a standard configuration. They're always going to cut the fabric like this, so the rainbows, you know, are aligning well. And so I appreciate that. You're not going to get any random cut off rainbows with this, I don't think. And the other Vera tote feature that it does have is this hidden slip pocket up by the top. That's on the outside, you know, because there's that slightly recessed zipper top, and this is on the outside. The one thing, I will get to the lining, which is gorgeous. The one thing that was frustrating for me is that this lining fabric was not used in this pocket, and it's also not used in the hidden side seam zipper pocket, which that is not such a big deal to me. The reason that I find this very bothersome is because on the website, in the product photos, there's a shot of this bag where this hidden slip pocket is open a little bit, and you can see a little bit of the lining, and it's this lining. So they mocked it up. I don't know whether they doctored that in Photoshop or whether they had a prototype with this lining in there. And so I feel that that's very deceptive that they have that on there. So I mean, it almost kind of makes me part of me want to return it because it's the principle of it. But I'm trying to get over that. I will say though, this lining, which is a nylon lining, just solid black as you can see, is heavier weight than like the solid nylon linings you see in the factory outlet store items. So I do like that. When I felt that it was heavier weight, I said, okay. But you know, this is an expensive bag. And at the time, anyway, I mean, I don't know what will happen in the future, but at the time when I ordered this, you couldn't use, you know, you couldn't get any discounts. So that's all, you know, it should be fully fashioned properly. And that includes the lining for that kind of money. And so that was a big disappointment. This is a denim fabric. Like I said, it's denim navy. It does look, you know, to me like a charcoal gray, but I don't have a problem with that. And it's got the micro square quilting, which is nice. As I've said on a number of my videos, the micro square quilting gives the fabric a nice drape. It actually does make it drape more. So this bag like slouches more, it droops more. I mean, not when you're wearing it, but you can see like it's not staying upright. I do think part of that is the micro square quilting. It just gives the fabric a nice drape and a softness to it. Sort of breaks up the fabric more, so the fabric has more flexibility. Those seams of stitching do that. What is going on over here? Okay, there's a lot of noise going on back there. I'm sorry if people can hear it. Okay, so now the lining. And then I will load it up and put it on so people can see what it looks like. When I saw this before, when it was up on the website for like 2 seconds, when they were starting to put some of the previews up for a new pattern. I think it was for Bon Bon Medallion. And this came up there for like 2 seconds. And I took a couple of screenshots, and then they took it down. So I said, what am I, going out of my mind? Anyway, I saw the fabric, and I thought, well, the rainbows are nice, but for me, this bag is all about the lining fabric. And in a Facebook group, Vera group, and I put a post saying just that. Rainbows are great. Love the message of what this bag stands for, but it's all about the lining for me. This lining is beautiful, and I said in that post, this was a while ago, this needs to be in the custom bag fabric options, and maybe it will get there at some point. this fabric was also, is if it's not exactly the same, I mean, it's different colors, but it may be the same pattern for the khaki Midtown. I don't know if it's still a Midtown fabric or whether they had switched over and we're calling it performance twill, but there's a khaki color in that line, and the lining in that is just like this, only different colors. So you can see that here, and this is accurate. This is a good color. The light is good, and it's accurate. That's why I decided to film now, because I could tell I was getting good light. I mean, this is just, you can't beat this. I mean, this is an interesting pattern. I feel like this is bold. This is fun and whimsical and complex, and I feel like sometimes the exterior patterns are a little timid. They're pretty, but they're timid. Like they don't want to offend their more conservative customers. So, you know, this, I definitely would like to see this on an outside fabric. And just like the other Vera totes, this has the 6 big slip pockets inside. No zipper pockets inside. You know, I think some people were feeling like they didn't think that this pattern, this lining goes with the exterior of the bag. Hold on just a sec. What is going on? Rosie, you seem like you're making a lot of noise. And you too, with the licking. Can't stand the licking sound. But I do think it works because it is like a riot of color. And that's sort of the message of this bag, right? All colors together. All colors of the rainbow together. All colors of people, all walks of life together. So I think that symbolically, this fabric does go with this bag very much. I mean, you can argue whether it's your taste aesthetically, but I'm so in love with this interior fabric. I'm almost tempted to just use this bag like this, but I won't. That's the strip from the tag. Okay. Please try not to make too much of a mess. So now what I'll do is flip it back right side out and load it up, and then I'll put it on so people can see. You can even see, I can put on the other bag just so people can see it really is basically the same size. Just doesn't have those straps going down the body of the bag. It would be nice, you know, if this came in maybe just a slightly smaller bag. This, you know, quite a gigunda bag, and not everybody's going to be carrying a bag like this all the time. I have been carrying the Vera tote, as I said in a number of videos, because I got a lot of coronavirus stuff. And so, you know, you never know what you're going to want to need, so I'm sort of carrying everything with the kitchen sink with me. Okay, so iPad mini slips in one of these 6 slip pockets beautifully. Got all sorts of mask paraphernalia. And I put that in usually another one of the center pockets, slip pockets. I have a Carson cell phone crossbody, Garden Grove, which like I say, and I always say this in my videos, I just use it in a bag to protect my cell phone. I don't wear it as a crossbody or move the strap, which is easy to do. It just slips through. There's some loops inside, and it just slips out of them. And that fits in an interior pocket, too. Fits in there well. I have a turn lock wallet. This is Clementine, which was one of the first Vera patterns I think I fell in love with when I started getting into Vera vintage pattern, and I definitely am going to talk about this in a video. I just recently managed to get a couple of good Clementine things. So I've been using that turn lock wallet. I do like the turn lock wallet. I have recent videos on that. This is a compact organizer, I think. from the factory outlet in Penelope's garden. I did show this in another video. And I have gloves in here. So normally I would have a bigger pouch in a Vera tote for my gloves, but I was carrying the on the go, and I wanted something a little smaller. Same thing with my GPS pouch, which is Dragon Fruit Floral, mini cosmetic. Normally I would have the GPS in a bigger pouch for a bag like this, because it gets a little lost in here, but just working with what I got. And my charger cord pouch I use, which is the light not medium cosmetic. I think that's what this was called. And hand sanitizer. And this, well, I do like the large on the go for this bottle of hand sanitizer, which I think is sometimes a little bit taller than some hand sanitizer bottles because it has the pump mechanism and everything. But I really like this. It's easy for me to access without having to touch it too much and pull it out of my bag and everything. I could just hit the pump in my bag. And so if people are familiar with the large on the go, they know it has these interior east-west pockets. And this slips so nicely in that. That contains it just so perfectly. And the zipper still closes, because the bag is tall enough. So I'm really bummed that this is the time they're choosing, it seems like, to not produce this bag anymore. Because it's got an interior pocket that works so beautifully with my hand sanitizer. But that is another reason why I like the Vera tote, because this slips. I can slip this in one of the, pockets in there. And these are nice, deep pockets. They go basically down to the bottom of the bag. So they're not really pulling the bag down, because whatever you put in there is going to hit the surface that you put your bag down on. So I like that, if that makes sense. I think that's everything in here for now. Yes. Okay. So you can see it all in there. I could still get a ton more stuff in here. And usually I would probably have like a sweatshirt, or a light sweatshirt or something for when I go into an air-conditioned place. That's also what's great about this bag. Really, you can just throw lots of stuff in here. Oh, excuse me. Oh no. Little one, please don't jump. Here, Rosie, let her go. You stay, please. I don't want you hitting the floor. Stand that noise when she hits the floor. Okay, so now put it on. Oops. And I'm hitting my crate. The dog crates everywhere. Literally, I think I have 4 dog crates out in my house, all around my house. So, there it is, big. It's the Vera tote again, so it's big. But it's nice. I mean, these rainbows read nicely from a distance. It's playful. It's definitely playful. And because they come nice around all the way to the side, there she goes on the floor. You can see them when someone's, facing you. They can still, the rainbows still show. So this is your regular Vera. Same width, big, super big. Sorry, I know this is blowing out a little bit. I think this bag, I think I've probably said this before in other videos, because it's so big, it looks better when you have a lot of stuff in it. So that's why I would tend to, please stop chewing on her face, okay? I would tend to have my bigger GPS pouch and my bigger glove pouch, just when I know I'm going to be throwing more stuff in it. I think that the bag tends to look better because it has a tendency to, because it's stiff on top, because of the way it's constructed with this recessed zipper and there's pieces of heavy denim fabric up here, and then there's the zipper itself, and all of that is working to keep this part, the top part of the bag, sort of stretched to this width. It's not flexible. But when you put enough stuff in the body of the bag to fatten it out this way, then it has this sort of rounder, the whole thing gets sort of rounder and more like a bucket. And then I think it starts to look a little bit better. You know, even the way I'm holding it here, you can see it's curving because it doesn't look as wide anymore. And so that's why I think this bag, you know, regardless of the pattern or the fabric, tends to look better when you really got a lot of stuff in it. And it's a sturdy bag. I mean, like, I carry heavy laptops. I've carried 2 laptops together in one of these bags. This is the bag I go to, the Vera tote, when I know I'm going to have a lot of heavy stuff to lug with me. And I've never been disappointed. I've never felt like the bag is going to tear, that I'm somehow going to compromise the bag in some way, damage the bag in some way. So I would assume this is not machine washable. I mean, I guess if people probably watch a lot of my videos, I know I'll throw almost anything in the washing machine, even when Vera says don't. But I don't think I would do that with this, so I hope I don't ever get anything on it, but I would just try to spot clean it, I guess. Because I don't know what would happen with this embroidery. Maybe it might go through okay once, but I think eventually the threads would start to pull up. There is one thread already coming up here, the very bottom thread here on this. I don't know if you can see it. On the bottom of this rainbow, right above the label. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe not, but it is pulling up. I did notice that. Anyway, but this is it. I'm not going to remember the name of it. Where's the tag? The Love All Tote, which is in support of, I'm going to say the letters again, LGBTQ and plus community. And it's not just, you know, this tag is it's very sweet, it's very not in your face. But I do get the feeling that the organization is a little bit more out there and advocating society to be better, to do better in this area, as it should. And there's the rainbow. Sort of hard to beat the rainbows, so there's something appealing about them, even though they are a little youthful, a little childlike, but there's something appealing about them. And I do think that the denim and with the micro square quilting sort of sophisticates it up, sort of gives it a little bit more sophistication, sort of, you know, makes it not so completely kiddie. So anyway, that was my quick one today. Oh, maybe it's not so quick now that I see the time ticking down there. It's my average length ramble with my latest limited edition rainbow tote. That's what I'm calling it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully see you next time on Vera Bradley Bag of the Day.